Good evening and welcome to Grade 12 parents. Welcome to Fleetwood Park Secondary's Grade 12 Parent Information Evening. I'd like to begin with our Territorial Acknowledgement. We take this opportunity to acknowledge the shared traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish people on which Fleetwood Park Secondary is located. We acknowledge the Katzie, Semiahmoo, and Kwantlen First Nations and recognize the diverse population of people who have come to Fleetwood Park Secondary and the Surrey School District and contribute to its warm, rich, and dynamic culture. I'd also like to recognize that this Thursday is our first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Fleetwood Park. Welcome to our alternative Grade 12 Parent Assembly video presentation. I've said many times over the last couple of months, we look forward to a near normal environment with our COVID safety protocols this school year, but we're starting off very conservatively. And so we felt that a video presentation rather than a large group presentation in the gymnasium would be most appropriate. So thank you for joining us on YouTube tonight. I'd like to begin. My name is Ken Hignall, principal at Fleetwood Park Secondary, and I'd like to introduce our two vice principals organized by their portfolio of student support. So Mr. Korinzik, who supports students A to K, and Ms. Duff, vice principal, who supports students L to Z. So we are happy to be able to spend a little bit of time with you to talk about grade 12 systems, graduation year being so important, and talk a little bit about how we are going to be supporting your children over the course of this really critical school year. One of the key messages that we convey to our grade 12 students at the beginning of the year is the importance of student leadership. And in grade 12, we will really be looking to your children to provide service and leadership to help us set a tone and culture for our school. Grade 12 leadership is so important. So my challenge to each and every grade 12 student this year is that when you come to school, in any way that you can help to shape and to support and to strengthen the culture and engagement of our school and our student body, please do so. The work and service that you provide this school year will set a legacy for years to come at Fleetwood Park, and we look forward to seeing what that legacy will be. The school, working in conjunction with the family in an open environment, working together in support of each other, is such an important part of who we are as a school. So our graduating class of 2022, I talk about a return to a near normal year at the school. So fingers crossed, the 2022 school year, we will be able to continue to implement systems that look similar to systems that we have enjoyed in the past, and that the COVID safety protocols will allow us to continue in a cautious but a near normal manner as we go through the school year. With that, we will work together in learning, in caution, and in care. The health and safety of our students and our staff and our community in general will continue to be our top priority as a school. Everything else will flow from that. So we've said here that the 21-22 school year will be what we make it. And we remain cautiously optimistic that our graduates of 2022 will experience success, health, happiness, friendship, excellence in learning, high level of engagement as they go through their school year. And that in the end and throughout, we will celebrate excellence in all forms of learning right across the spectrum, curricular and extracurricular. And we're really blessed to be able to be part of the school community to celebrate and witness the amazing things that our students accomplish each and every day. So to start off, in terms of the structures, to allow all of that to occur, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Duff around some of the expectations for our grade 12 students.
Hi, everyone, and congratulations to our grad class of 2022 for uh, getting to be in your final year of high school. It's a huge accomplishment, 13 years of school, and a very exciting year and a real transition into your adulthood. Just some expectations. So, just a reminder to students that we do have some events that we are hoping will be more normal this year than what we've had to do the last 2 years, and that includes our commencement and potentially a dinner dance. Um, and to get to those events, you have to be, behaving yourself in the school. So we do have a school code of conduct. It's on our website, and it's good just to remind yourself of the things you're allowed and not allowed to do in the school. But the things that we potentially see happening with grade 12s, like things that come up here later, things like student driving, way students are driving, potentially getting involved in some kind of grad prank, using narcotics at school. Those are things that will stop you from getting to attend these really fun uh, rites of passage that we offer at the school level. So just keeping that in mind when you're deciding to do something silly, like a grad prank. We take vandalism to the school extremely seriously. There is a district letter that will come out later this year, closer to grad, that will go over the specifics about why students really should avoid grad pranks. And we really encourage you to think carefully before doing anything that's going to be destructive to the school or the neighborhood. Just a reminder to grade 12s that your study block is a time to study. That's why it's called a study block. So you're encouraged to be somewhere where you can study. We do have tables set up again in the plaza that works most times. On a rainy day, it's not a good place to be because then PE will need to use the plaza. But there is the grade 12 table upstairs just across from the office that students can use for their studies. Or they can stay home and work there, or if there's no one in the library, they can work in the library or one of the common areas. So there are lots of places where students can be working. And I have to say, so far this year, when I've walked around and seen and talked to students on study blocks, the majority of our students are doing just that. They're sitting, they're working together on different big classes that they have right now. So I've seen kids being really good on their study blocks so far. So I would just say continue doing exactly what you're doing right now. The parking lot and student driving, I'd say there's probably some room for improvement, maybe there. We are seeing students driving potentially too quickly. And I just want to remind you that having a spot to park in our parking lot that is so crammed right now is a privilege. And that privilege will very easily be taken away from you if we see you driving in an unsafe way around the school, anywhere. So please be careful in the neighborhood. There's lots of kids around, and we don't want anybody. The main thing is we don't want anybody to get hurt. And if you're driving erratically, then we're worried that's going to happen. So just a reminder of that. Fees need to be paid. So we haven't laid out our commencement or dinner dance fees yet because we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen for those events. But as soon as we do have that all organized, we will send out that information to parents and guardians. And just a reminder that you won't obviously get to participate in commencement or a dinner dance unless you have paid. And that includes outstanding debts, old textbooks that you haven't returned, library books, that kind of stuff. So make sure you paid all your fees. Eligibility to graduate. So obviously, you need all the credits that you need and the requirements to be able to participate in commencement. Um, any student who is bordering on not being able to do that will be put on something we call academic probation, which means that there is a chance that you will not get to participate in walking across the stage for commencement. You will need to get your marks up to a certain place, get yourself passed in, let's say you're taking one class at SAIL that you really need and you haven't finished it yet. Those kind of things will all play into this. So please make sure that you're keeping up. If you're struggling, if you're having trouble, that's a really good time then to go talk to your counselor. Any moves that you make that's proactive is going to be supportive of you down the line and be able to participate in our grad events. Okay, Mr. Krumzik's next.
Thank you, Ms. Duff. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to dive a little bit more into what the graduation requirements are, and there are sort of a process to review them. So just know that counselors and grade 11 students do go over and review the graduation requirements as students do their course selection for grade 12. So there has been a review already of what is required, and most students have their grade 12 year set up so that they don't really have to think too much about this, but we do want students to review it. And so we'll be working with our counselors to get information out to the students so that they can review those grad requirements another time, just to make sure they're matching everything that they need. If students want to see their permanent transcripts or need access to be able to distribute them later to post-secondary institutions, they need to sign up for an account at studenttranscripts.gov.bc.ca. So know that that's a really important step, and we encourage students to do that as soon as possible. If students are struggling with that, they can go to our Career Center and talk to Ms. Sammartino, and I believe she's some experience with working with students to get those signed up. Just an update or reminder that post-secondary schools in BC don't, for the most part, don't accept or don't request paper transcripts. Everything is done electronically, which is why students need to sign up for that website for that service. And then sort of the bottom line here is we'll go through more details around grad requirements, but just in general, if you or your student, your child is worried about their grad status, just please contact the student's counselor and they can discuss and review those with you. The next slide here is just a breakdown of all of the graduation requirements. I'm not going to read them all, but we do have a nice worksheet on the school website under the, I think it's About top tab, courses, and then course selection. And if you go to the grade 10 to 12 section, there's a one-page sheet with basically a checklist of the requirements, but the actual courses that we have at Fleetwood Park, because there are, 9 different Math 11 or 12 courses that would meet that requirement. So they're actually listed there for your child to select. Sort of holistically overall, there's 13 courses that are mandated that are required for graduation, and a total of 80 credits, which works out to 20 courses. So from grade 10 to 12, students are responsible to complete 20 courses. Most students are able to accomplish and finish these by the end of their grade 12 year. But if that's not the situation your child is in, the school counselor can help navigate and guide ways to make sure your child can complete all of the required courses in a timely fashion. A really important way that students have a chance to review their graduation requirements is through a document called a DVR, or Diploma Verification Report. This is a report that the school runs and we distribute to students. Typically, we would actually give them to you tonight here in attendance, but since we are meeting virtually, we're working on a plan with counselors to have these distributed in person to classes, and then students will be able to take them home and review them. The part that I'm showing is the top of the sheet, and I would describe this as sort of the most important part. It shows all of the requirements. Everything listed here is a requirement, and what you'd be looking for as a parent or a grade 12 student is that something has an X beside it. The X means that it's either completed or in progress. And so, grade 12 students and their parents or guardians should go through and confirm that everything is done and is as expected. The one on this particular DVR that is not selected is a Literacy 12 provincial assessment. This is something that nearly all students, actually should be all students, will have not selected currently, because it's something they haven't had a chance to complete. This is the first year of the grade 12 literacy assessment, and we'll have all students complete those within the school year. So know that that is one that will be not X'd out for anyone, but will be complete by the end of the school year. So, and then in the bottom half of the report, I don't have it on the screen here, but it's just a breakdown of every course your child has taken from grade 10 level up through grade 12. And if you look at these codes at the beginning, if you look at the first one, it's LA0. It will say which course met the LA0 requirement on the breakdown below. So you can go through and see which courses have contributed. One thing that's important to know is that this is a diploma verification report. It's not a permanent transcript, and that there are some subtle differences between the two documents. And so a permanent transcript, for example, the final copy only shows the highest grade in a particular course, and it also does not show courses that have been failed. That said, post-secondary schools may have access to that information through the PSI, the online portal that I showed earlier. So just know that there's some minor differences between them. Post-secondary applications and deadlines and information are coming fast and furious right now. Deadlines come up very quickly. I know some of them end right around where semester one ends in the new year. Some post-secondary institutions offer early admissions or all sorts of opportunities that are time sensitive. So if your child is thinking about post-secondary, I think now is a great time to start looking into the deadlines for particular programs. As I shared earlier, that Ministry of Education transcript service site is really important to getting student transcripts to the post-secondary institutions for consideration. So I would highly recommend signing up for that now. And I believe it's free for a large number of schools to have those records transferred. So it's just a matter of doing it. And as I shared earlier, Ms. Sammartino and the Career Ed Department can help out if you're having trouble signing up for the site. This is just a flyer for the student transcript service. It's available at the office in the Career Center. It just has the exact web address and instructions. So if your child is having trouble getting to that website, please ask them to come by and ask for this one-page handout on how to do it. Our PSI information in the school is handled by Ms. Connor. She's our contact for coordinating post-secondary institution visits and information. This says that the virtual sessions will be planned, but this year all of the sessions are actually going to be in person with limited opportunities to attend because of the capacity requirements with COVID-19 health and safety protocols. So students who are interested need to be listening to announcements, and they need to be paying attention to the Fleetwood Park app. And some of these sessions require sign up, and I believe it's first come, first serve. So if your child is highly interested in attending these, they need to be paying attention to those announcements. With that, I'll turn it back over to Ms. Duff.
Thank you. Career Life Connections 11-12 and your Capstone project. So many of our students at Fleetwood take CLC in grade 11. So many of you right now have already done your Capstone and you've passed CLC 12 and you have that grad requirement checked off on your DVR. If you have not yet, and this is something you're working on this year, just remember that the Capstone is a requirement and you will not pass CLC without doing it. If you have any questions about CLC, Mr. Day is the main contact. There's obviously some information on the school website also about requirements, but the key part of that class, other than attending and getting all of your assignments done for your teacher, is also doing the Capstone. So please spend some time on that. I used to teach this class, and the Capstone project was one of the highlights of the year for me, getting to hear students talk about themselves and their learning experience through high school. Scholarships. Before I even say anything that's on this list, I just want to remind students that scholarships are not just for students who are high achievers that are getting the best marks in the class. There are scholarships for all different types of students in all different curricular areas. You may be a great chef and love working in our culinary arts program. You may love automotive and be great in that program. There's scholarships for those areas. So when it comes to applying, please apply for all different types of scholarships. The time you spend on your application is worth it if you win the scholarship. So it can be a really good way to make some money for university or college or any post-secondary that you do. In our school, Mr. Johnson is our scholarship coordinator, and he sends out information throughout the year. He has a great website on WordPress called FP Scholarships, and I would recommend getting on there, reading, because every time he hears a new scholarship, he'll post them on there. And he also has a Twitter, which is FP Scholarships. Also, he pushes things through there. And then there's also scholarship services available through GrantMe, which is an organization that can support people in applying for scholarships. So anything to do with scholarships, talk to Mr. Johnson. He's great at this area. All right. Commencement, dinner dance. These are things that we're really hoping that will be a little bit more back to normal. Commencement right now is booked for June 17th at the Bell Center. Obviously, we're waiting to find out how many guests will be allowed to go to that event. With the way things are right now, we'd only be allowed to have half the capacity, and we know we could probably fill that place twice with people who want to come. So just keeping in mind that a lot of this is TBA, but this is very much the formal event. We really believe that this event is really about family, and so we want to make sure that you're kind of keeping in mind that it is sometimes a longer ceremony, but it's very important to parents and guardians to see their children cross the stage. And it is a really fun event. We've had 2 years of it being kind of turned upside down, and it would be wonderful to kind of get back to this evening where we can all watch each other graduate together. There is a fee that covers all the costs of this event, and each graduate, right now it says 2 tickets, that's our goal. But again, this is all going to be determined at a later date. And we are also hoping that we will be able to have a dinner dance again this year, and the date and venue is to still be finalized for that. Thanks.
Okay, dry grad. So again, cautious optimism that we can have a near normal dry grad this year. That is our hope, plan, and goal. But as we all know, there's a long way to go between now and June, so everything is still tentative. But we are hopeful, and we are beginning our planning with that end goal in mind. Fingers crossed. I would like to begin by really saying thank you to the dry grad committees over the last 2 years. It has been so challenging to fundraise, and in the end, due to COVID safety guideline requirements, we were not able to come together as a graduating class for dry grad. So our dry grad committee really had to be creative, did wonderful work in terms of fundraising, and recognized our students in a different way. In order for dry grad to be successful, it takes many parent volunteers, and we have already started our dry grad committee this year. Our school has a long tradition of dry grads happening, and the parent volunteers at Fleetwood Park raising funds throughout the year and hosting a wonderful, dry, safe, fun, supervised party free of drugs and alcohol, with activities and games and prizes and entertainment. Great time had by all in a wonderful, safe environment. And so that is what I hope will happen this year. I formally invite all parents of our grads of 2022 to please help out, volunteer for our dry grad committee. There is an email address there, drygrad@fleetwoodpark@gmail.com. Please send them your name and the name of your child. And the next meeting will be held on October the 18th at 7 p.m. Location still to be determined. I'm not sure whether it will be at another virtual meeting on Zoom or perhaps here in the library. We will see. But again, everybody is invited to join. Many hands make light work. This is an important committee that does important work for a safe, fun, and in-person dry grad in 2022 for our graduates. Please send them an email. We hope to see you on the 18th.
Another interesting and important part of the graduation experience is the grad photo experience. And so our appointments are available online right now. The Artona studio is in a trailer that they actually bring to the school, so it's in the school parking lot. The dates for our photos will be November 30th through December 9th, and basically students can go to artona.com and sign up for a session starting right now. All students are expected to have their photos taken. There's no purchase required. There's no deposit that's collected as far as I know. Basically, students can just show up and have those photos taken. They are using our grad composites and they're part of a lot of the things that we do with grad. So that's why we like to have students do that. if there are any questions or concerns around that, you can reach out to Artona or feel free to reach out to me if you have other specific questions. We also are expecting some grad friendship photos opportunities as well. Those dates will be shared once they're finalized. But yeah, very important that people sign up, the sessions book up quickly. And we know that some of our grade 12 students are working and have other commitments outside of the school day. And so we really encourage people to sign up as soon as they can.
So communication, while staying in touch about all things grad, will be really important for families throughout the school year. So we have a variety of ways that we're able to reach out to our community. Last year, I think it was, we started a new structure using a Microsoft Teams set up for our graduating students that gave them lots of information about post-secondary applications, scholarship availability, commencement information, dry grad information. Great source of information. In addition to that, a number of tools that we use include our Fleetwood Park website. So we will blast out announcements on our website. Those announcements also get pushed out to our Fleetwood Park Dragons app. We have a Fleetwood Park Twitter account. We also create a separate graduate newsletter that goes out. It'll go out in October. So we encourage parents and students to stay in touch with the school using a variety of platforms around all things grad. And then that takes us to our last slide. And just in general, is to stay informed. So again, that grad newsletter will go out in October. Visit our website often. Check out what is happening in the school around graduation. This is really the most important year for your children in terms of getting through, being successful, enjoying high school, being engaged. Graduation 2022 is going to be very special. So we look forward to working with you and your children. We look forward to shaking your child's hand as they walk across the stage in their gown and tassels, receiving their graduation diploma in June at the Bell Center. Okay, with that, please contact us if you have any questions related to graduation. Have a successful year, everyone. All the best. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.